Good evening and welcome tonight to Be Inspired with Pepe Minambo. Another evening of thought-provoking reflections. And I'm glad because this show has been enabled by Centenary Bank, our bank, and Aquafina mineral water. Only what essentials. So our great gratitude to the sponsors for making this show very possible. And tonight we are continuing with a series championing and leading organizational transformation. So becoming a change agent basically. So what does it take for someone to drive what we call transformative change? What does it take for someone to be looked upon as a game changer? What does it take for someone to be looked upon as the next big thing in town? Tonight, I'm so glad to share with us some very illuminating kind of illustrations and reflections and meditations and just pointers on what really makes some people be what we call game changers or leading and championing organizational transformation or simply transformative change. You see, I read a quote by Louis Pasteur, one of the greatest inventors of the past century, and this fellow said, if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. I thought that was very deep. He said, if God did not exist, it will be necessary to invent him. Now, look at transformative change drivers, how they think. They think of solutions, they think of realities, they think of situations or circumstances, and then they say, even though there were no possibilities or resources or raw materials to make that thing a reality, if it calls for inventing and like bringing into existence things that do not exist, we'll go ahead and do it. So if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. Because he thought about a world without God. How would that world be like if there was no God in this world? He said, if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. So my first challenge and question to you is what are those critical things that have to exist in your life, have to exist in your environment, and have to exist in your organization, but they do not exist now? And everybody is sitting back, maybe complaining. Everybody is coming short. Everybody is just wishing and desiring, but the reality on the ground is very different. I say, what is that one thing? Now, look at the thinking of Louis Pasteur, this inventor. He said, if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. That's profound and that deep. Now, that takes me to a concept I learned many years back about the two kinds of thinking, the blue ocean thinking and the red ocean thinking. So the red ocean thinking is, do what everybody does. Accept the norms, settle for the convention. No, embrace the status quo. But the blue ocean thinking say, yes, we have the convention here. We have the status quo. We have the norms. Is there more to status quo? Is there more to the norms? Is there more to convention? In fact, the author talks about two kinds of oceans. At the shore of a lake, you have the blue, the red water. Then deeper there, you have the blue water. In every shore of every ocean, you have the red water and the blue water. The red water is shallow. Everybody can step into the red water. You have cats, you have dogs, you have cows, you have rubbish. You have everybody playing there in the red water. But it takes divers and professional swimmers to go into the blue water. And unfortunately, most people are living life in the red water. Most people have settled for less. They've settled for status quo. They've settled for the norms. They've settled for convention. But it's only few people that defy convention, defy status quo, and defy boundaries, and they dare go where even angels fear to trade, into the blue water. So becoming a change champion, becoming a game changer, becoming a maverick, you must have a different type of thinking. If God did not exist, say Louis Pasteur, it would be necessary to invent him. What are the necessary things that need to be in place for your organization to operate at full potential, for your life to be at full potential? What are those necessary things? If you had what and what and what, and your life will become what? So that is the first question I want to ask you tonight, referring to this powerful quote by Louis Pasteur, that if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. What's invention? Now, I came across Hitachi, the Japanese brand, their tagline. I love the tagline of Hitachi. It's simply inspire the next. Inspire the next what? The next technology. Inspire the next mobility. Inspire the next solution. Inspire the next environment. Inspire the next idea. Inspire the next blockbuster movie. Inspire the next program, the next book. Inspire the next service. Inspire the next revolution. Inspire the next. Right now, we go so much, but then they say inspire the next. Your organization does what it does. Product line, systems, service line, but then they say inspire the next. If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. But then Hitachi comes and say, inspire the next. So the question is, what is the next big thing in your life? In your line of work, what is the next big thing? In your product range, what is the next big thing? In the services you offer, what is the next big thing? In who you are as a professional, what is the next big thing? The next big place, the next big level. What is the next? What is the next? And Hitachi says simply, inspire the next. So I thought about it. I said, okay, in whatever I do, what is the next? So people that change, patterns, trends, people that change realities and situations and circumstances, I think they belong to the Hitachi school of thought. Inspire the next. Now you see, game changers, they all think alike. They have these theories of like the Louis Pasteur, if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. Invent the next big thing that doesn't exist. Then Hitachi comes and say, inspire the next. What is the next breakthrough? What is the next solution? What is the next product? What is the next invention? What is the next opening within the space where you work? You have to be ahead of the curve. Then, by talking about inspire the next, I thought about the Think Different advert that made Apple computer very popular in the world. The Think Different. You see, game changers, mavericks, transformational leaders, people that drive transformative change, they kind of subscribe to the same school of thought. If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. Inspire the next, think different. And tonight I'd like to share with you some of the thoughts I put together as I went searching on inspire the next what? Then I came across the Think Different famous adverts by Apple that we all know. And Steve Jobs made this advert so popular. But that's the kind of thinking I'm talking about tonight. That game changers, mavericks, trailblazers kind of have. Think Different ad. These are the words. You say, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. Wow. To be a transformational leader, to champion change, to champion the next big thing in your business, in your organization, or in your sector, to become a blue ocean thinker, to invent what does not exist, you need to be a crazy one. You need to be a troublemaker at times. You need to be a misfit. You need to be a rebel. And sometimes a round peg in the square holes where you don't really fit in terms of conventional thinking, in terms of norms, in terms of status quo. So my first challenge tonight is, what are the things that you will identify as norms and status quo and conventions in your workspace, in your personal life, at family or community, that will be bold enough to inspire the next path, to inspire the next breakthrough, to inspire the next opening. And then the advert continues, says, of course I start from the beginning up to the end now. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can do is ignore them. I love this. You can disagree with them, you can quote them, you can vilify them, you can sabotage them, you can even talk ill about them. But the one thing you can't just do, you can't just ignore them. You know why? Because they change things. They change things. They're the people that say inspire the next. They're the people that say if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. They're the people that look beyond the blue ocean or the red ocean to the blue ocean. They say because they change things, they invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire, and they push the human face forward. They think different, they do different, and they live different. It's not the correct English, but this particular English went viral in the world some 30 years ago through this advert by Apple named Think Different. Now, you know, my question to you, when you look at a car like Lexus, is Lexus a Toyota? If you look at a Toyota Harrier and another Toyota type, just looking like Harrier, but one carries the brand Toyota, the other one doesn't carry any Toyota anywhere. It carries the brand Lexus. So what is Lexus? Let me give you a bit of background. You see, Japanese have been selling cars in America for long. But Americans, with their attitude, always felt Japanese brands were a bit lower than their own brands, because they were used to bigger machines and more powerful appeals. And Japanese struggle really to penetrate the luxurious American motor vehicle markets with the Toyota. And I know even up to now, some people feel, Toyota, they want these big brands or Europeans or Americans. Now, Toyota struggle making headways into America for many, many, many years. Until in one of the meetings, they sat down and say, okay, so if we can't get into the top of the class market in America with luxurious cars because they feel that Toyota is a common man car, what do we really want to sell into the States? Someone in the room say, we want to sell luxurious things, cars. We want to export luxurious cars. Then someone said, if you want to export luxurious cars into America, then don't export Toyota to America. Why don't we create a brand that signifies luxurious export into the US? You know what Lexus means? The L means luxurious, and the E means exports, and the US means United States of America. So Lexus simply means luxurious export to the US. And then they remove the brand Toyota that we all know, and they put the L brand of Lexus. And people that drive Toyota, but they drive Lexus, they feel they're a little bit more superior. They belong to a certain market that is not your common man Toyota car. And luxurious export to the US becomes the Toyota of choice for most VIPs around the world. These are the kind of things I'm talking about. Inspire the next market breakthrough. Inspire the next value proposition. Inspire the next big idea. Hitachi, inspire the next. To the crazy ones, to the misfits, to the rebels, to those who see things differently. To you, this show is dedicated tonight, driving and championing organization change and transformation. You need to think Lexus. You need to think Blue Ocean. You need to think Louis Pasteur. If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. We'll go on a break, and as we come back, we'll continue talking about the attributes of mavericks, game changers, people that drive organizational change and transformation. We'll be right back.